Aya, Lewis Potter, Jan Elt, Yarmouk, Carvalho, Sharda and Wissa. And it is, as we thought, Chris, 3 at the back.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't work out. Yes, May could have played left back, possibly. But he's been playing every game as a centre-half since he's been to Brentford and even when he left Burnley. So, yeah, it makes sense to go what they normally play.
So referee Sam Barrett, who's wearing his ultra blue referee's jersey and black shorts, is just waiting, just checking his watch, and Brentford will be attacking the Gallagate end as the whistle blows and Brentford get us underway. BBC Radio 5 Live, also live on BBC Sounds on Sports Extra. Southampton Liverpool will be the option at 8 o'clock, as here, remember, there is no extra time. Got to be settled on the night. If they're level after 90 minutes, we go to a penalty shootout. Both sides have already gone through that route to get to this stage, the last 8, as the ball is hoisted high and Pinnock heads it up towards Carvalho, whose downward header is collected by Tonali midway through the Newcastle half. In a week where on 5 Live and BBC Sounds we'll have live commentary of the heavyweight rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury from Riyadh on Saturday night. This is the start of a busy few nights of live action on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tomorrow we'll have the Tottenham Hotspur Manchester United League Cup tie that will then complete the last 4 lineup as Hall plays it forward to Gordon. Newcastle have started well with a nice vibrancy and tempo to their play in these opening 90 seconds. Tonali's forward ball, Gordon, central area, out towards Murphy, very much the man of the moment in field. This is Guimaraes, who's played it back towards Murphy, slides it into Guimaraes with a cutback, and the cushion header is eventually cleared by Yarmouk inside that penalty area. But Newcastle United have really picked up the initiative from the start of the game, Chris.
They have. Well, we expect that at home. Brentford changing shape. They've probably worked on a back 4 coming to this game. Now they're about to go back with 3, which they're used to playing. Isaac's a massive player tonight for Newcastle. You know, the 3 centre-halves, me, Pinnock, Collins, are not blessed with great pace. And the one thing Isaac has got is a lot of that. And his movement, I've looked already, they've played a couple of balls down the channels, asking him to run and chase it. If he gets a level with these centre-halves, he'll run away from them.
The legendary figure that is Chris Waddle is with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live as Gordon picks up the ball and drives it Aya out onto the left-hand side. Hall's cross is blocked. A belated happy birthday as well from the weekend.
Yeah, it's hard when you're 21, but you know.
Here is Byrne. The question is, will you still need me? Will you still feed me?
Well, that's you give me age away now.
Here is share out towards that far side. Murphy on the right corner of the area. Guimaraes. Brentford are defending very, very deep. Ball played to the right hand side of the penalty area. Murphy with a cutback. Joe Linton tries to roll. Joe Linton, shot blocked. Turned very sharply, left-footed effort was blocked, but Brentford are under pressure.
Oh, well played, Sneyd. Oh, foul, definite foul.
Upended by Tonali.
Yeah, if that had been in that 20 minutes into the game, that would have been a yellow card as well, by the way. He's let it go early. I hate that when they say it's too early to book somebody, but he hasn't.
He likes a yellow card as well, Sam Barrett.
I've just looked at Brentford start, Ian, a bit lethargic again. You know, when you come here, you've got to be up for the first 20 minutes. And I looked at Brentford and they've tried to play nice, tempo, slow. It's not going to work.
Well, they're going to leave it for Flecken to take it. Flecken, all in yellow, moves out of that penalty area from our left-hand side. Comes across to this near side. Brentford are playing from left to right as we look. We sit low down in the main stand here at St James's Park. And he's in no real hurry to take it. He was the hero in the previous round in a penalty shootout when they knocked out Sheffield Wednesday, although he was at fault for the goal that they conceded. As he waits, everybody is gathered in the central area midway through the Newcastle half. It's a long ball which is going to one bounce and through towards Dubravka, who is still deputising for the injured Nick Pope, who's out with a knee injury. Isak to Gordon, nice little link-up play. Isak, Yarmouk slips as he tried to pull Isak back. And then a back heel away from Collins. Ayer on the cover, goes to ground as he puts the ball out of play for a throw. And Gordon wants to take it quickly on this near side. 4.5 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Crystal Palace already lead Arsenal by a goal to 0. 0-0 here at St James's. As Byrne to share inside the centre circle. Back with Byrne. Out to this near side, the left. Hall down the line, gets it back from Gordon. Tonali comes towards him, but Hall will pass it back to Byrne. Carvalho and Wissa try and press on that back line. Livramento, as a heavy touch, actually gets Gordon possession as a result of that touch, and then the ball is hit long, too long by Collins, and it goes out of play for a throw.
When they're playing Newcastle in the press, the full-backs go right in there. They don't have to sit under the back four, they push right in. And they're leaving 2-on-2 at times at the back. The two centre-halves for Newcastle, at times I don't feel sorry for them. They get so isolated.
Here is Hall, couldn't keep the ball in play. And it'll be a Brentford throw, not quite level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. Certainly Newcastle have had a much harder route to the last 8. They've already beaten 2 sides of the Premier League in Forest and Chelsea. Where lower league opposition for Brentford. As Pinnock, this could be a long throw coming in from the right.
As Brentford have slowed everything down. I mean, he basically walked from the halfway into this throw in.
Keith Andrews is already up and out, the set-piece coach, but the referee has blown his whistle. He spotted something. He's walking in the direction of Nathan Collins, the Irish international, who I think was getting in a bit of a tussle with Joel Linton. So
how many referees do you see doing this in a game? Every game?
Yeah.
Do you ever see them give a pen? Waste of time. Is it for the cameras, is it?
So if they started giving penalties, they should stop it.
Why don't they?
Pinnock waits. He'll be keeping a beady eye on those two. Once again, Joel Linton with his arms across Collins. In comes Pinnock with a long throw, headed out by Byrne. It's going to come out towards Pinnock once again, who left-footed, high ball. And Dubravka caught it and throws it out now towards Murphy. And it will go straight out of play for a throw over on that far side. Let's go to Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Arsenal have a free kick just on the edge of the area over on the left-hand side, which would be a danger with their set pieces. Still that Mateta goal that separates us. One other chance for Palace. Sarr on the right of the area, saved by Raya. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
The draw will take place on Thursday night after that Tottenham-Manchester United tie, and the ball numbers will be confirmed in the morning by the Football League. Semi-final ties to be played week commencing the 6th of January and then the first week in Feb. As Newcastle United, who are in the quarter-final for a 3rd season in a row. First time that they've ever achieved that, but it's still a competition where their best has ever been 2 runners-up positions in 76 and then in 2023. Livramento rolls a short ball. Murphy, right-hand side, level the area. Murphy delivers across. It's a deep one. No one is there at the far post. Ayer is able to turn. Lets the ball settle. He's closed down by Gordon, and then his clearance bounces off the knees of Sharda.
Ayer could have got rid of it 5 seconds earlier, couldn't he? But I've looked at Brentford. They're very easy. They're slowing the game as much as they can. They know Newcastle like to come out and get the crowd going. They're slowing everything down. Every set piece, they've dropped right off. I mean, look how deep they are.
Well, they boast the best home record in the Premier League, but they do struggle on their travels. As Isak looking to turn on the edge of the penalty area, he was side onto goal. Bobbled back towards Gordon, feeds it to Livramento, charges into the penalty area, right-hand side, low cross, comes out towards Tonali! Oh, he hit that superbly. It was an instinctive right-footed shot, and there was no chance of Flecken saving that. And Tonali, with an absolutely rasping drive, gives Newcastle United the lead, 1-0.
I'll tell you why, Ian, that is quality strike, by the way. It comes out to him, it doesn't come out, it doesn't roll out where you think, go on, step into it and hit it. It actually comes to him with a lot of pace, and his technique is absolutely fantastic. The goalkeeper's not going to save that. No way in a million years. No, now is too gnarly. What a great strike. And as I say, brilliant bit of skill, bit of technique. The ball comes in, it's not the best clearance. Nobody goes out to challenge it. It's a weak clearance. He just hits it first time, just outside the D. Goalkeeper absolutely no chance. A lot of bodies in front of him. As it comes out, what a strike. Goalkeeper doesn't save him.
Well, of course, he had that 10-month ban for breaching betting regulations. He had scored on his debut against Aston Villa, so this is only his 22nd appearance tonight. But as Tonali's name reverberates around St James's Park, his second goal for the club is the one that has given Newcastle United the lead in the 9th minute of this contest, and there was nothing that Flecken could have done about that. Here is Wissa to Schade. Brentford looking for a riposte in towards Wissa, saved by Dubravka. Then he dives at the feet of Wissa, who goes to ground. Sam Barrett, the referee, has said no, and remember, there is no VAR.
Well, he's not going to give it now, but I think, tell you what, if there was a VAR, I'm glad there's not, but if there was, he may get it. I don't know why Schneid didn't shoot. Brilliant bit of skill on the edge of the box, goes past two, lovely little flick outside the foot. It's the second. He goes past the keeper, and as he turns, the Bremner tries to get the ball off him. I think he catches his foot. Very harsh. But I've seen him given. And that goal going in for Newcastle has been good, because Brentford now have to come out and they have to up the tempo.
Yes, because you're right, they were a little slow in slowing everything down, weren't they? Well, they've got 11 minutes in. Newcastle lead by a goal to nil. Pinnock with a throw. It's a flatter throw this time. Headed out by Byrne. Headed back by Ayer. Edge of the area, it will drop for Murphy. And Murphy looks to go on the outside of Yarmouk. And he outstrips him for pace. And he continues to run forward on that far side. But then he's given away a free kick for a little push on Carvalho, and that'll be a free kick to Brentford.
Yeah, first bit was good change of pace down at right side. He got the crowd's roaring, he gets carried away a little bit, ends up giving away a silly free kick. His first touch wasn't great. Brentford have to up the tempo.
Oh, they've got another problem now. They've already lost Vandenberg in the warm-up.
Pinnock.
And Pinnock has gone down midway through his own half, and the physio's been called for. So whilst we've got a stoppage in play, this is Floodlit Fact of the Day. 1987 is part of Late Night Livesey on 5 Live. 1987, Diamond Lights peaked at number 12. Chris Waddle, what was number 1 in April 1987? Was it Mel and Kim, even, respectable, Madonna, Isla Bonita, or Benny King, Stand By Me?
I'm going to go Madonna. I'm wrong, aren't I?
Well, I went with Benny King, Stand By Me. I was wrong. You are correct.
There you go.
Very good knowledge.
Well, she wanted to do a record, me and Glenn, but we turned her down that night, if I remember right. So,
Late Night Livesey, 10:30 every night on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Chris Waddle getting Floodlit Fact of the Day correct, as Pinnock is still down and getting treatment.
Yeah, hamstring.
And we will go to Arsenal. John Southall.
Home fans very quiet. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. Bit like on Saturday against Everton. Just not creating much at the moment. Arsenal, that Mateta goal still separates the two sides. And the 6,000 Palace fans are enjoying this. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
The best bit of actually appearing last night on Late Night Livesey was when he played Deacon Blue. Just for me.
Legend.
My own personal request.
Great group.
Pinnock, I think, is going to be coming off, and Ruaslev is going to be the one who's going to be coming on. Newcastle United lead by a goal to nil, so already Thomas Frank is into his second change. Ruaslev will go in as the right wing back. Ayer will move across as to one of the 3 central defenders. So it's another reshuffle to that back line for Brentford. They're going to have to be flexible. 13 and a half minutes in, and they'll also hope that going into the festive period, these are not serious injuries.
Well, this is the problem, Ian, isn't it? I mean, look, he's wanted to make changes tonight. It's backfired on him in the first 20 minutes, hasn't it? Let's be honest. There's 2, and they both look muscular injuries, so they might miss the Christmas period.
They've got Forest at home at the weekend, Brighton away on the 27th, and then on New Year's Day they're at home to Arsenal. So Thomas Frank will have something to ponder as play is back underway. Newcastle lead by a goal to nil, and Crystal Palace are leading Arsenal 1-0 at the Emirates. Newcastle have a throw. Livramento to take it far side. In towards Tonali, the goal scorer. Sweet strike it was too. Back then with Cher, and goes further back to Dubravka. Whistle will run across that penalty area.
I'm just looking at how they're setting up now, Brentford, and basically playing man for man.
Here is Isak, his little layoff towards Joe Linton, tidied up by Yarmouk at the back towards Flecken, who's going to hit this ball long downfield. Little flick on by Sharda. Ruerslev makes the run in behind, unmarked on the right, chance to work over the cross, headed away by Tonali. This is only the 20th ever meeting between the two. They've met 4 times previously in domestic cup ties. Newcastle have won 3 of those 4. However, the most recent tie was when Brentford were a championship team and they knocked out Newcastle in this competition. They reached the last 4, did Brentford then, and eventually were beaten by Tottenham Hotspur. We'll have commentary of their quarter-final tie against Manchester United tomorrow night on 5 Live from 7. But Brentford haven't won in their last 8 trips to St James's Park. 90 years ago, their only victory. Harry Curtis was the manager, and Ernie Muttit scored a hat-trick in a 5-2 victory. So no one can say I've not been doing my homework. Has John Southall been doing his?
No, actually wasn't even listening to you, sorry Dano. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. Chance though for Arsenal, Raheem Sterling 20 yards out, free kick left of the D, tipped over by Henderson, and Arsenal have a free kick. Just stay with this for a second, over on the left hand side to the back post as ever, headed across goal over the bar. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
It's the story of my life, that, John. Newcastle lead by a goal to 0. Brentford almost caught by playing out from the back, but Aya, who's actually gone into that central role of the back 3 now, plays it out towards Carvalho. He was caught by Cher, and Cher is going to get the yellow card for the first booking of the night.
Oh, there you go. Nearly 20 minutes, but see, that was no different to Tonali earlier on. No difference whatsoever.
And the way he upended Sharda, didn't he?
Yeah.
For that particular challenge. But you're right. 17 minutes in, there's the first yellow. Sam Burrett giving it once again quite a high line from Newcastle in their black and white striped shirts to defend this free kick. Brentford playing from left to right, so midway through the Newcastle half. I mean, that's a good 30-35 yards out from goal for Dubravka. What it does do, if Janelt can get the delivery right, if he can drop it in behind that back line, there'll be a bit of room to test Dubravka, who's standing by the penalty spot, and after all that he plays it short to Lewis Potter, who then hits it long to the right hand side of the penalty area. Aya heads it to Sharda. Carvalho tries to turn, good footwork by Carvalho, runs to the right side of the area. Aya looks to deliver the cross, it's charged down, and behind it goes for a Brentford corner where we know they're a threat.
I think they did well with that free kick. They rolled it short, didn't they? Newcastle had to drop then because it was time on the ball, so they worked that pretty well. But I would say the one thing with Brentford at the minute, it's just the tempo. They don't play quick enough for me. They let teams get a good shape against them. Yes, we know they've had some mental spells here where they've been passing it around, but they just don't play quick enough.
Well, Keith Andrews is out and he's getting his instructions across the set-piece coach. There's a lot of pink shirts that have gathered at the far post, and now all of a sudden from a cluster they've run away to the edge of the area. Now they go back in. Cher heads it up rather than away. Bouncing ball in the penalty area. Collins is there. Joel Linton flicks it, drops towards Yarmouk, heads it out towards me. Me turns, scoops over the cross. Sharda is there, ball inside the penalty area. There's a Newcastle player down, it's a head injury, and that's why there's a stoppage in play. 18.5 minutes played. Newcastle lead by a goal to 0, but they're now underway at Southampton. Chris Coles.
The game is 4 minutes old. Southampton 0, Liverpool 0. This game being played in atrocious conditions, the rain pouring down, and there's a very brisk breeze blowing from left to right across St Mary's Stadium. Liverpool dominating possession. No Arne Slot on the touchline ban instead. He's watching from the press box. He's a couple of seats behind me. Southampton 0, Liverpool 0.
Now that is interesting. I thought that the yellow cards didn't carry forward from competition to competition. I was expecting him to serve that touchline ban at the weekend. Joel Linton is the player down, incidentally. Commentary of that, by the way, is on Sports Extra. Southampton against Liverpool. Joel Linton is still being patched up for a stray arm, was it, by Collins?
There's nothing in it. Collins was looking at the ball. Yeah, you know, people raise their arms, don't you? Because that's how you jump. But I don't know why Joe Linton's going mad there. To me, there was nothing in that at all.
Well, he's still being tended to by the two physios. Newcastle United leading by a 0-0. Interesting in this competition, and they've scored in every round. They've scored every goal in the first half. Yeah. Yet in the Premier League, 8 of their 23 goals in the Premier League have only come in the first half. They've struggled for first half goals this season in the Premier League, yet not in this competition.
Cup team.
Back to John. Are you paying attention?
I am. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. Arsenal have had 74% of possession, again very similar to Saturday, but they just can't find that way through to goal. That Raheem Sterling, one of the better chances in the half, tipped over by Henderson. We've got about 10 minutes to the break. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
So that was a 7:30 kickoff. This is a 7:45, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Southampton Liverpool on Sports Extra at 8. That was a lengthy stoppage, as Joe Linton is now going to have to leave the field of play, and we're yet to restart with Newcastle United leading by 8-0, which it'll be a free kick or an uncontested drop ball for Newcastle, actually, that Dubravka, I would imagine, would take. And in fact, Joe Linton is going to continue to get treatment.
I'll keep an eye on him and Collins as the game goes on. But he is getting more treatment near the corner flag. Changing his shirt.
Must have been a bit of blood there as well then, as Dubravka has the ball in his hands. 21 minutes played on 5 Live.
To be fair, I was expecting a lot more from Newcastle. Quarter final of the Cup, I thought they'd come out the blocks really, quick, like we see them play sometimes, and they've been a little bit nervous. I think they're obviously to respect Brentford, rightly so, but it's not normally how you see Newcastle.
The goal has certainly settled down the crowd, hasn't it? There's not much apprehension in the crowd tonight with that strike from Tonali. Excellent goal it was too. Murphy back to Livramento on the halfway line. Back to Cher, forward ball. Guimaraes able to turn. Passes the ball forward, but it went fizzing past Isak, who's blocked the clearance from Collins and now gives it to Gordon. But Gordon was challenged by Rueslev. And Joe Linton is going to come back onto the field. They're going to be back up to their full quota of 11. He's got a little bit of tissue, a swab that he's stuffing in his mouth. Maybe a little bit of bleeding in the sulcus area of the mouth.
Don't get fined for littering.
He just dropped it on the floor. Burn to Cher. Newcastle 1-0. Tonali. Through this man here, running back towards the halfway line. Back with Cher, hits a ball over the top. Lewis Potter, the left wing back, heads it. Mee leaves it for Ayer. Back towards Mee, almost caught in possession, and then clips it away to safety. Up towards Wissa, dropping back inside his own half. Brentford in their pink shirts, maroon shorts, playing from left to right as we look. Out to Rueslev on this near side. Newcastle lower pressing and forcing Brentford back. Eddie Howe will like that.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are working so hard as they normally do, but give Brentford credit the last 5-6 minutes here, and they've come into it. Look, they've slowed the game right down to their pace, what they want to do.
Carvalho just tried to thread a ball through to Wissa. It was blocked. It comes towards Murphy, tidies up on that right hand side of the play, and then with Tonali, diagonal ball. Rueslev has slipped again. Tonali then hits it over the top. Gordon couldn't control it. He applauds the ball as well. There might have been half an opening for him on this near side to left, as Newcastle are leading by 1-0. We're past the midway point of the first half.
I think that's how the game's been here, and apart from the goal, which was a very good strike by Tonali, apart from that, I think a lot of players have never got settled in possession. No team settled in possession, finding it hard to control the ball. Look, giving it away cheaply.
Tonali gives it away, and another goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
So Crystal Palace 1, unless I've missed something here and I've been paying attention, so I don't think I have. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
Sorry. We were going to Sahel Sahi. It was me who wasn't paying attention.
There's two Arsenals tonight, isn't there, Ian? Lots of confusion. Arsenal have taken the lead against Bayern Munich in the Women's Champions League. Goal coming after 7 minutes from a corner. Caitlin Ford with the goal. It was a goalkeeper, Bayern Munich's goalkeeper, who spilled it on the goal line. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0.
Yep, mea culpa. Thank you, Sahel. Congratulations to the team in the studio as well to bring up John with the faders as well. That was rather swift work, as Newcastle still lead Brentford by a goal to 0. Arsenal 0, Palace 1, Southampton 0, Liverpool 0 is a latest score in that 8 o'clock kickoff. 25 minutes played. Crowd now starting to get involved as well, because it had gone into a bit of a lull, hadn't it?
I think there's a bit of nerves out there, Newcastle. We normally see them really going at teams, and give Brentford, as I say, credit. They've had to change the pack on two occasions, but they're playing. I think Brentford actually are dictating the pace of the game, which normally Newcastle do.
Here is Byrne in a challenge with Schade. Ruislev takes over, just touches the ball short and forward towards Carvalho. There's a large hole there in the midfield for Brentford to take advantage of, and Carvalho, unchallenged, ran into it, out towards me on that far side. Janelt now will pass it out towards Lewis Potter, but Brentford growing into the game, looking for an equaliser, and Lewis Potter overruns it. Goal kick. But they are starting to see more of the ball.
They are. They've changed the team. You feel sorry a little bit for them not to keep changing it, but they're in control at the minute. They're dictating the pace of the game. They've got the ball more than Newcastle. But as I say, we normally expect Newcastle to come out very quick and chasing them down and putting a lot of pressure on them, but they can't get near Brentford at the minute.
That's the voice of Chris Waddle on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, where Newcastle are leading by a goal to 0. Gordon tries to drop his shoulder one way and then the next, away from Ruislev. Back towards Tonali. Hall high up on this near side the left. Gordon was clipped. That'll be a free kick. Sam Barrett will give that. Just has a word with Thomas Frank, who's complaining, down in front of us on this mild night, actually, isn't it, at St James's?
It's very mild, yes.
As Cher passes the ball across towards that far side for Livramento. Formerly of Southampton, where we're going now, Chris Coles.
0-0 between Southampton and Liverpool, 12 minutes in. Mild on the south coast, but very wet, very windy, definitely having an effect on the game. The long balls are being caught in the wind, and it's been a fairly uneventful 12 and a bit minutes. Southampton 0, Liverpool 0.
Sports Extra has the commentary of that. Here is Byrne, left-footed ball into no man's land. That goes straight through to Ben Mee. 6 appearances this season, the former Burnley man. Half of them have come in starts in the League Cup. Having to just be patient, mind you, with the injuries picked up tonight to defenders. Might have an extended run in the first team, Ben Mee. As the ball goes back to Flecken, all in yellow. Able to hit the ball down the middle of the pitch. Cushion header forward by Cher. Drops towards Yarmouk, Ukrainian midfielder. Quite bulky. And Mee will give it to Yarmouk once again. And now with Collins, but Brentford not able to go anywhere at this stage.
Newcastle's not. But you normally say Newcastle dominate the possession. That's the first half here. But Newcastle just can't seem to get into a pace or rhythm. They're so laid back. The way they're playing, it's so easy, slow. It's very easy for Brentford to get shape up against them. Since the goal, Brentford's dominated the pace of the game.
I thought there might have been a foul on Carvalho. Thomas Frank is having a word with the fourth official at the moment, James Bell, because the decision actually went in favour of Newcastle. That free kick has been taken. Livramento, got to say, it did look like a Brentford free kick. I can understand the complaint there of the Dane, who's been heavily linked with clubs elsewhere, such as the job that he's done at Brentford. As Hall runs forward on the left hand side, gets it back from Gordon, then back out to Gordon on the left, level the area. Ruislev is with him, goes on the outside, tries to go towards the byline, gets a corner. There's Gordon.
Well, it's positive play by Gordon, isn't it? He's trying to take his full back on, has 2-3 goes at him and finally gets a corner out of it.
Just over 15 minutes to go to half time then on 5 Live. By the way, I mentioned the boxing earlier. 5 Live Boxing, the podcast, will have daily episodes with Steve Bunce from Riyadh, just to whet the appetite ahead of Saturday night. The coverage will start at 9 o'clock on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 30 minutes played. Newcastle lead by 1-0. They're gathering up and bunching up inside that 6-yard area as we look in front of the Leesy's stand away towards our left, and Gordon clips it long towards the far post. On the stretches, Joel Linton off his head and straight out of play for a goal kick.
Well, I've got to say that apart from the goal, Ian, very quiet, isn't it, again? There's not a lot of things to talk about. We were expecting quarter-final cup tie, both teams going for it, high tempo, a lot of goal action, but we've not seen it.
No. In fact, just looking down at my notes, I've got the Tonali goal, and then from memory, I'm thinking of that potential penalty that Brentford might have looked at.
It's a ham sandwich.
Downfield, Flecken's clearance, bounces off the thigh of Joel Linton, runs now for Wissa. Carvalho had gone ahead of him, instead rolls it out towards Ruislev, Yarmouk. Back then to Collins. Gordon tugged back by Collins. That's going to be a yellow card, and it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle United. He knew exactly what he was doing, Gordon.
Well, good bit of play by Brentford. They get round the 18-yard box down his right hand side, attacking the Gallagher end, and they check up there and end up on the halfway line with the ball where he gives a free kick away. Look, you're in the 18-yard box, have a shot, try and create something.
Half-time at Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Palace 1. The goal after 3 minutes. Dean Henderson with a long ball forward. Jean-Philippe Mateta out-muscled Kiwior into the area. Poor defending. Mateta finished into the bottom right-hand corner. Good centre-forwards goal, which will not be lost on some Arsenal fans. Henderson's also denied Jesus and Sterling, but Arsenal have been unconvincing. Palace lead 1-0 at half-time.
Southampton 0, Liverpool 0 is a latest. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. We're a 7:45 kick-off here. Cher forward on the right, back with Guimaraes level with the penalty area. Tries to work over a cross, can't do so. Tries to thread it through, can't do so. Blocked by Wissa. And then the assistant referee on that far side says there was a foul, and Brentford will have a free kick. And we've got 13 minutes to go to the break. But it's not the spectacle that many people might have.
Well, you expect in a cup tie, aren't you? In cup games, you always expect teams to think, we've only got one go at it, so let's go for it. Let's try and get a result. Brentford's been very cautious. We saw that, but I was expecting a lot more from Newcastle to drive them on and commit them bodies forward, which we normally see here.
Flecken yet to take the free kick. We'll check in at Southampton with Chris Coles.
Southampton 0, Liverpool 0. 18 minutes in, we finally had our first shot on goal, although on goal is being a little kind because it was nowhere near the goal. Darwin Nunez, edge of the area, right foot shot, way over the bar, and that's the only half chance we've had. Southampton 0, Liverpool 0.
You can hear the wind as well rattling there off the effects mic too, so a bit of a wild night it seems at Southampton. Very mild in comparison here with just over 10 minutes to go to half time. Wissa, they do have Mbeumo on the bench. They made the 5 changes initially, but of course then Collins coming back in for Vandenberg in the after an injury in the warm-up, as Guimaraes hits a quick early free kick. Gordon had stopped running and it got a touch off the Brentford defender, and Flecken couldn't keep it in play, and all of a sudden Newcastle have got a corner.
Ruislev trying to keep the eye on Gordon, trying to look one eye on the ball, ends up hitting his foot, going out for a corner which the keeper cannot keep in, and the corner on that right hand side for Newcastle.
Paul runs across with a bit of urgency to that far side, the right, in that corner between the east stand and the Leeds' end, for those of you who know St James's Park. So this should be an in-swinger, but in fact it's taken short, just a few yards to Tonali, left corner of the area. Hall works it inside, comes to Murphy, hits it first time right-footed, 25 yards out, curling ball over the top, didn't trouble Flecken and never looked like troubling Flecken. Goal kick.
No, it would have been a wonder goal if he hits the target with that. It's come across him, he's leaning back as well, always rising the ball as soon as it leaves his foot. So we're just needing a little bit of goal action, a little bit of energy. It's so flat, the game.
It is. He didn't hit the target, but I'm sure James Gregg is watching people who are hitting the target at the darts.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paulo Nebrida was 3-1 to win this match. The man from the Philippines is, fair to say then, a rank outsider, but he's given the Welshman Jim Williams a real scare here. Nebrida leads 2-1, although Williams is throwing for this fourth set to level it up and take it to a decider.
Quick free kick for Newcastle United. Scher has hoisted the ball long. Gordon's onto it, unmarked, enters the penalty area. Gordon cuts inside and shoots and couldn't keep it down. It'll be a goal kick. Newcastle still lead by a 1-0. 10 minutes to go to the break. Chance at Southampton, Chris Coles.
First chance of the game for Southampton. Tyler Dibling, good progress into the penalty area, nice feet, dummied his first shot, but then his right foot shot was straight at Kelleher, who didn't have to move to make the save. Still Southampton 0, Liverpool 0.
It was quick thinking by Scher, wasn't it?
I mean, Gordon will be disappointed there. He's on his right foot, comes inside, he's got a little bit of time and space, a little bit. You'd expect him to hit the target with his ability, but goes high.
And putting that one down as a chance for cutting inside. Didn't you say he should have done better?
Yep.
As Hall was just caught after he'd played the ball back to Dubravka by Ruaslev. Sam Barrett is going to walk across. Been symptomatic of the game. They've had a lot of stoppages, haven't they?
Yeah. And, let's be honest, they're not really fouls anyway, but it's slowing the game down because there's no rhythm to the game.
No. Newcastle supporters are doing their bit to try and lift the atmosphere. As Hall, who's hobbling quite badly, is going to leave the free kick duties to be taken by Dubravka on this near side to take it. He actually just bites the edge of his black and white striped shirt, does Hall. He must be in a bit of pain. He's still not running freely. Has a word with Jason Tindall. He's going to try and run it off. Dubravka with the free kick, right-footed, ball spinning through the air. Janelt heads it forward for Brentford, comes off the head of Carvalho, off the shoulder of Wissa, and Joel Linton will turn away from Carvalho and passes the ball forward to Gordon, who over the halfway line inside the Brentford half to Guimaraes, and now out towards Murphy. Murphy scampers onto this ball and slows it down back to Livramento. You might have heard a groan there from the Newcastle crowd. Here is Guimaraes able to turn, still leading by a 0-0. Links up with Tonali. Guimaraes then was just knocked off his stride there on the edge of the area, and
Guimaraes' yellow card
has gone into a challenge.
Yeah, they're not going to. There's no VAR, so they cannot look at it. But I think it was a bit late, yeah.
And he's caught me.
Yeah.
And he's going to get.
No, he didn't catch you. He caught.
Very good, very sharp. It's going to be a yellow card to the Newcastle player, free kick to Brentford, and we will check in that Women's Champions League tie. Arsenal women against Bayern Munich with Sahel Sahi.
22 minutes played here, Ian. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. The goal coming after 7 minutes. Alessia Russo's just come close for Arsenal, nearly double their lead. A right-footed shot, 20 yards out. It was just over the top. If Arsenal win, they top the group. Both sides are already through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League stage. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0.
Have you had the chance for the challenge on me again?
Yeah, he stood on his toe. Not your toe, but me's toe.
8 minutes to go to half-time. 1-0 to Newcastle United. Flecken waits to take the free kick. Developments at St Mary's, Chris Coles.
A goal, and a goal for the holders. Liverpool are in front. Darwin Nunez with it, made by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Great feet, just outside his own penalty area. His through ball to Nunez took a deflection, and he had all the time in the world. Bear down on McCarthy's goal, found the bottom corner. Southampton 0, Liverpool 1.
It's a trait of Arne Slot since he took charge. They score in every game, with the exception of one, in the 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. So they've found the back of the net again, and Liverpool are ahead. Commentaries on Sports Extra. At half-time, Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Newcastle United lead Brentford by a 0-0 here at St James's Park, with just over 5 minutes to go to the break. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. But it hasn't been a great game, hasn't been a great spectacle, as Livramento back to Scher. But if Newcastle United can be in that semi-final draw tomorrow night, something to look forward to then for the new year.
Yeah, that's the object. Yeah, I mean, we all want to see exciting football, don't we? Joe Linton's
another stoppage.
Still not recovered from that head injury, which was 15-20 minutes ago.
So Joel Linton has gone down now inside the penalty area. But you're right about the rhythm, and these stoppages aren't helping the natural flow of the game to.
I think we expected
to be generated.
I thought it'd be going toe to toe. When they played at Brentford the other week, it was a great game. Both teams going for it. It's not like Newcastle to not go for it. They're actually a little bit showing a lot of respect to Brentford, but it's not how we normally see Newcastle play. They're normally on the front foot. The atmosphere's jumping. There's chance after chance. Yes, they look vulnerable at the back at times, but tonight, slow game.
Well, the both meetings that they've actually had at Brentford have both been 4-2, but at the minute there is only had that Tonali goal, and there haven't really, chances have been few and far between in the contest, really. Brentford are taking this advantage of this stoppage to Joel Linton for Thomas Frank to have a word with his players, get a little bit of liquid refreshment on board. Newcastle United, Isak's come across to Jason Tindall. They look quite relaxed. Cher's just having a word with one of the backroom staff. In fact, it's Ray Thompson, the kit man, about a potential change of boots. So Tomo will run down the tunnel for that, and Joel Linton is back to his feet. But there's going to be at least, I would have thought, 4 or 5 minutes of added on time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And Joel Linton looks okay to continue, one would imagine.
I think it'd been a problem if he'd walked to the Brentford dugout, but
he's got another blow to his. I think it's maybe that blow that he got to his face that has just caused the blood to reappear. So he's having a word with Eddie Howe. Players about to get back underway. Newcastle lead by 1-0. 41 minutes played, but a lot of stoppage time as Dubravka has the ball at his feet in his penalty area in front of the Gallagate end, away towards our right hand side. And Wissa just stands in front of him, and Dubravka hits it right-footed downfield. Isak, who's been in good form, 3 goals in his last 3 games. Tonali's ball down into the ground, touched back by Gordon, runs towards Byrne. Joel Linton yet to come back onto the field of play. He's got to wait at least 30 seconds. Here is Guimaraes. Now he comes back on and runs with purpose, but Newcastle are attacking with purpose. Murphy's cross from the right. Need, that could have gone anywhere by Ayer. It did go higher, and it went behind.
Yeah, well, it was good delivery, good move, but a bit of tempo about Newcastle there.
So corner kick for Newcastle United, far side the right, leading by 1-0. 3 minutes to go to half time. Incessant chanting from those in the Gallagate end away towards our right, but our eyes are cast to the left, where Newcastle have a corner on the far side the right. Gordon to take it, it's an outswinger. Tonali meets it, brilliant goal. Tonali in the double increases Newcastle lead, and both have been super strikes, excellent technique. Brentford have problems. Newcastle United lead by 2-0.
Well, it'll be interesting, Ian. I know you've just said earlier there's no VAR. It's a great finish again. Well worked corner off the training ground. If you watch Joe Linton, they actually block 2 players, which allows Tonali to come through and just side foot it. It's a class finish. He could easily have hit out these laces, and it could have went anywhere. It's a controlled. He's passed it into the goal. Really good finish. Well rehearsed corner. I'm sure it's a foul if it was VAR. Joe Linton holds Pickle back. Tonali goes in on his own. There's nobody marking him. Runs from inside the D. Dan Byrne, Joe Linton occupy the 2 big boys. Slight deflection, I've got to say, but still a good finish. Side foot. Passes it into the net.
And he was in the air, wasn't he, when he's made the connection as Tonali. Right-footed volley. A little bit of a deflection off the body, I think, of Collins.
You've got to say, Wissa picked him up on the edge of the box and he let him run. Now, whether he thinks the centre-halves are going to head it or whatever, you go with your man. And Tonali's on his own, and he's a good player, he's a class player. Good side-foot volley into the net.
I've got to say, he wasn't renowned for his goal scoring at Milan. He only scored 7 in 130 appearances during his time at San Siro after they'd signed him from Brescia. But that now a double on the night, and Newcastle United have the luxury of a cushion. But both have been very, very well taken goals.
difference.
The technique of both goals.
Both goals have been excellent technique. A little bit of good fortune the second one. It was a slight deflection. I still think it was going in anyway. Well, really, Newcastle haven't had to do a lot to be in the lead. As I said before the game, I thought if Brentford come and really play with a high tempo and a purpose, they've got a chance. But they haven't. They've played slow, they've sat back, they've not really caused Newcastle any problems, so it's been quite easy for Newcastle.
And just before half-time, the first chance of Wembley ring around St James's Park as Newcastle have a free kick. Hall to take it, downward header by Joelinton, flags up on the far side. Well, before tonight, they'd scored 9 goals in their last 3 games. Eddie Howe has talked in recent matches of just starting to get back to the standards that he wants. And after getting their first win against Leicester City in 5 games on Saturday, they now lead by 2-0 as Lewis Potter breaks forward but has overrun that, although he will get a free kick. And 6 minutes of added on time as Livramento has just been shown a yellow card for that foul on Lewis Potter.
Well, he did well, Lewis Potter. He ran across the lane of Livramento. He had no option to get out, push him and get out of the way, which he's got a yellow card for. Well, I've been disappointed with Brentford. I know they've made changes and they've had a couple of injury problems, but they've not played at any tempo. They've not asked any questions. They're just playing so slow.
They went away at Colchester in round 2. They've actually only had 2 wins in their last 11 in all competitions, but it's 8 without a win on their travels in the Premier League, in stark contrast to boasting the best home record in the Premier League. They are a different animal away from home, and now they've got real problems. 2-0 down as we are into the 6 minutes of added on time. They've not threatened at all in open play, so let's see what they can do with this set piece. It's over 25 yards out, it's left of centre, it's Lewis Potter, right footed. It's a dipping effort, right footed, off target goal kick. Newcastle 2-0.
You don't blame him. Why not have a shot? They've not had much joy putting the ball in the box for headers or crosses. Have not had a lot of joy, so why not have a shot that goes well into the Gallagher end?
There's been a goal at Southampton, Chris Coles.
A second for Liverpool, and this is really well taken by Harvey Elliott on his first start this season, his first goal of the season, found just on the edge of the area, dribbling into space, right foot shot into Southampton's bottom corner, and Liverpool are in total control. Southampton 0, Liverpool 2, 33 minutes.
Well, they conceded 5 in the first half against Tottenham. Russell Martin, of course, losing his job on the back of that as Wissa is down. And Liverpool looking good for the last 4. Crystal Palace, remember, leading at half-time against Arsenal by 1-0. And Newcastle United 2-0 up here. Tomorrow night, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, 5 Live Sport. John Murray and Michael Brown will have commentary with all the build-up from 7. As the physios made it onto the field of play, they got to the edge of the centre circle, and then Janelt actually waved them away.
Well, I think he wants to get in half time. I mean, I don't know what France's team talk will be, but he's got to have a bit more urgency and a bit more desire. It's a cup game. You go out, it's not about points. You go out, you lose, you're out. You go home, you're finished, you're out. Go and have a go.
Are you back underway for the second half, John?
Yeah, we are. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. A couple of significant substitutions though. Mikel Arteta had to do something. He's brought on Ødegaard and Saliba for Nwaneri and Partey. Klein has come on for Kapurka for Crystal Palace. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
Thank you. That was a 7:30 kick-off at the Emirates. This was 7:45, and Newcastle United in stoppage time have taken a throw on this near side, the left. Hall rather casually flicked it down towards Joelinton. A little bit of hesitation in the back line for Brentford, but it's picked up by Flecken inside their penalty area. But he's hanging on to the ball, not blessed with options. Throws it out to Ayer, now with me on that far side. The Brentford left. 2 goals from Sandro Tonali. The difference between the two, here is Tonali. Clearance from Brentford went straight to the Italian, towards Murphy, plays it in. Guimaraes lays it off. Tonali links back up. He was on a hat-trick there, couldn't get the shot away, has kept it in play. Isak back to Murphy, hits the post. rising right-footed effort, hits the right outside of the right-hand post, out for a goal kick. Newcastle close to a third.
It should have been game over. That was a good move again. Urgency with Newcastle when they want to. We've not seen a great deal of it first half, let's be honest, but they went through the gears, and Brentford can't get near them, and it's hit the outside of the post. Very unlucky by Murphy, but you've got to say Newcastle 2-0 up. Absolutely an easy first half for them.
It has. It's been very comfortable, hasn't it?
Without them having to work and chase and do things what you normally see with Newcastle, high tempo, they've just strolled through this first half. I've got to be said, Brentford have been very, very disappointing.
Yeah, it's been a tame effort offering so far from the away side. Newcastle lead by 2-0, and we are into the 5th minute of 6 to be added on in this first half on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Livramento makes a diagonal run from his right back slot and now plays the ball forward to Gordon, and Newcastle are threatening more goals. Here is Joe Linton charging at the heart of the Brentford defence, out to Murphy, right hand side, flags up, free kick to Brentford.
You should never be offside there, Murphy. He's coming down that rate, he's just got to look along the lane, keep looking along the lane, eventually the ball rolls to you. That was a poor play by Murphy, but so easy for Newcastle. They win the ball at the back. Joe Linton runs 30 yards with it. No challenge.
Flecken plays a diagonal ball out to Rioslav. Rioslav comes off his chest, holds off Gordon. Wissa turns away from Tonali. And then Tonali, though, comes back and dispossesses Wissa, who thought he'd been fouled. He's getting back to his feet now and still in the ear of the referee. Play continues, meanwhile, with Brentford. Yarmouk to Janelt inside the centre circle. Me over on that far side. Comes to a standstill, does the defender for Brentford. And now with Yarmouk, Collins right of the centre circle, and there is the half-time whistle, and Newcastle United deservedly and comfortably are ahead by 2-0. Two very well taken goals by Tonali, his first a sweet strike after 9 minutes, and then he passed the ball in with a right-footed volley 2 minutes before half-time. Chris Watt.
Well, two great goals, two good finishes, I've got to say. Newcastle have turned up without really having to play like we normally see them playing, high tempo, pressing and a lot of energy. They didn't need to do it. Brentford haven't turned up, so it's been such an easy first half for Newcastle United. And notice there Joe Linton walking off, had a word with the physio. I don't think we'll see him second half.
Well, we'll wait and see with second half commentary to come, but Newcastle United at this stage are set for the last four, because at half-time Newcastle United 2, Brentford 0. Steve.
16 months, Chris Waddle, between Sandro Tonali's first and second Newcastle goals, and 23 minutes between his second and third. He's been through a lot and he's finding his feet again. We know he's a good player. Listen, he played by AC Milan, great team. He's come here, yes, he's very unlucky. Two great finishes, the first one in particular. What a strike, it's not easy. People just think, put your head down and hit it. He controlled it, nice strike. Didn't try and take the leather off it, he struck it lovely, and it was a wonderful finish. Second one, a little deflection, but knew what he was doing, cushioned it, side foot volley, didn't try and blast it. Newcastle haven't had to play well to be 2-0 up. Brentford have been so poor. I know they've had a few problems with injuries and whatever, but it's a quarter-final of the Cup. If you're going to go out fighting and thinking, we had a go. They just didn't play on Newcastle's nerves at all, did they? Nothing. And they were there in the stand and on the pitch.
Nothing. I know there's changes, but hey, there's 11 players v 11. Go and have a go. The tempo they're playing at, you're not win any game. Never any cups are. You're not win any game playing the way Brentford's playing. You've got to show energy. You've got to take risk. It's a cup game. If you lose, you're out the competition. It's not like a league game where you think, we can get 3 points next week. You're out the competition. Go and have a go. If you get beat 4, you get beat 4. But at the minute, Brentford been so disappointed with them. Newcastle haven't had to do a lot, and I don't think Newcastle's playing to the level of what we expect.
Yeah, not needed to play well so far. Newcastle 2, Brentford 0, half-time. These are League Cup quarter-finals. Remember, Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle will be back, of course, for the second half. Every time I look up, John Southall, Arsenal are attacking.
Yeah, there's more intent, there's more urgency from Arsenal now. The fans sense it. Arsenal 0, Palace 1. They should have equalised. Raheem Sterling at the back post, saved by Henderson on the rebound, hit the crossbar. Ødegaard 20-yarder, Henderson there again. Here they come forward again. Good defending, though, from Crystal Palace. And Marino, the 25-yarder wide. Better from Arsenal. You sense it could be coming, the goal. Cross comes over now, looking for Jesus at the back post, cleared away. It's all Arsenal now. Arsenal 0, Palace 1.
Arsenal's men look like they might be about to score. Arsenal's women have just conceded. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, Bayern Munich are level now here, Steve. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. It came from a corner, just like Arsenal's goal. And this time the former Chelsea defender, Magdalena Eriksson, rose the highest at the far post to nod home. We're all level. We've played 39 minutes. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1.
That one in the Women's Champions League, of course. The third of our 3 League Cup quarter-final ties tonight is at St Mary's, and it's only going in one direction, Chris Coles.
And that direction is in Liverpool's favour, leading Southampton by 2-0. They've been very comfortable, have the holders. Darwin Núñez putting them in front, caressing the ball home from Alexander-Arnold's through ball. Harvey Elliott doubling the lead with a nice finish into the bottom corner, and McAllister sweeping an effort that was very well saved by McCarthy. Could easily have been 3-0. Southampton, they're slightly less kamikaze under Simon Rusk than they were under Russell Martin, but they haven't really offered a great deal going forward. Tyler Dibbling with their best effort, a right foot shot straight at Kelleher, and so far it's been a relatively comfortable evening for the holders. Liverpool leading at Southampton by 2-0, and we have 5 minutes of the first half to play.
Well, if ever a goal was coming, John Southall.
Absolutely. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1. Lovely finish from Gabriel Jesus, skipped over Shalabar and dinked the ball over the keeper Henderson into the net. Hasn't scored many recently, second of the season. Big one for Arsenal. They brought on Saliba at half-time, they brought on Ødegaard. There's more urgency. Arsenal have the equaliser. Arsenal 1, Palace 1.
So Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 2, Brentford 0 and Southampton 0, Liverpool 2. The scores in the League Cup tonight. Remember, they were staggered kickoffs. So Arsenal Palace got underway first, then our game at St James's Park. Second half commentary on the way. We'll see what happens, but I think there's a high chance we'll probably take commentary of the end of Southampton, Liverpool. Liverpool, as Chris was just telling us, leading by 2-0. We're going to be off to Riyadh after the news on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. A teenager's been jailed after killing 3 of his friends in a high-speed crash under the influence of laughing gas. Thomas Johnson, who's 19, was travelling at speeds of almost 100 miles an hour before his car collided with a lamppost and a tree in Oxfordshire last summer. He's been jailed for 9 years and 4 months. Detective Sergeant Tony Jenkins of Thames Valley Police was the senior investigating officer.
This was, without doubt, one of the most catastrophic and tragic collisions I have investigated. The speeds at which Johnson was driving were staggering, particularly given the road he was driving on. Ethan, Elliot and Daniel stood no chance. They were simply enjoying a night out, and their lives were needlessly and tragically cut short.
Downing Street says the Prime Minister has spoken to President-elect Donald Trump and reiterated the need for the Allies to stand together with Ukraine. They also discussed the importance of working together for peace in the Middle East and for economic prosperity in both the UK and the US. Well, the US Central Bank has cut interest rates for a third time, despite concerns it risks reigniting inflation, which rose slightly to 2.7% there last month. UK figures released today put inflation here at 2.6%. The man who led the offensive that toppled the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad says Syria is exhausted by war and is not a threat to the West. In an interview with the BBC, Ahmed al-Shara called for sanctions on the country to be lifted. He's the leader of the group known as HTS, which he wants to be delisted as a terrorist organisation. And water supplies have been disrupted around Southampton, affecting over 70,000 properties. More than 20 schools have been shut today. Southern Water says it hopes to have restored supply by the weekend.
Let's travel through time together this Christmas Day.
On Headliners, we travel back across the year and relive some of the best moments from the likes of Sir Trevor McDonald, Dina Asher-Smith and James Blunt.
And I'll be time travelling back across 2024. Hear highlights from my chat with Russell Crowe, Gabby Logan, Dermot O'Leary and many more fab guests.
OK, so we're not actually time travelling, but we do have all this and much more. You can join me for a festive breakfast from 7 as we get the big day underway in style.
This Christmas Day, ask your smart speaker
to play BBC Radio 5 Live. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We'll be back at St James's Park for second half commentary shortly of Newcastle 2, Brentford 0 on 5 Sports Extra. You can listen to Southampton 0, Liverpool 2, half-time there very shortly. And into the second half, hour mark, Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1 in the other League Cup quarter-final tie. Tonight, Saudi Arabia next, just 3 days out from the World Heavyweight title rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. Usyk is defending his WBC, WBA and WBO titles in Riyadh. You can listen to the whole fight live on 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website from 9 p.m. on Saturday. Both of the fighters held their public workouts earlier today. Here's Fury's promoter Frank Warren on his man's defeat last time.
I feel that fight's taken more out of Usyk than it's done of Tyson. But Usyk's a warrior. They're both warriors. They're unbelievable heavyweights, the best of their generations, best of the 21st century. They gave the best heavyweight title fight of the 21st century by far. Who can now capitalise on the other guy's weaknesses? Who can do it? Who's got it in them to do it? That's what this fight's all going to be about.
Frank Warren speaking to Steve Bunce, who joins us now from Riyadh. About midnight must be there. Steve, how is it?
I never look at my watch when I'm working, Steve. You should know that. If I've got an appointment, I've just got to be on the phone in 10 minutes talking to 5 Live. Yeah, it's about midnight, by the way.
It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, Steve. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. You're absolutely fine. How did they look today then?
Well, they look cold, and that's not a cheap joke. It's absolutely freezing. It's bitter here. Again, that's not a cheap joke. Tyson Fury got in the ring in at least 4 layers with a hat on and some gloves on. Not boxing gloves, as in keeping your hands warm. He went around the ring 3 or 4 times. He nodded at a few people. He said half a dozen words and he got out. Usyk did a few tricks and messed around. The real telltale sign was, in my opinion, on Monday when I sat down with the pair of them and did that thing. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I tried to look in their eyes, Steve. I tried to see something that none of us have seen. And I saw the most content-looking Alexander Usyk, and I saw a very angry-looking Tyson Fury.
I mean, with most elite athletes, you might say that going into an absolutely huge night in your career with anger isn't a good thing. I imagine boxing, and especially Tyson Fury boxing, might be an exception.
It might be an exception, and it has proven to be an exception with other fighters in the past. However, it's also proved to be a hindrance because the anger ends up ruling your heart and your head, and it just becomes pure emotions. Tyson Fury's fairly good at controlling his emotions, but he does need a bit of motivation. And if the fear, and if I could use this expression, the fear factor of suffering another defeat, back-to-back defeats with Usyk, if that fear factor is what helps him come the first bell, great. However, if that fear factor means he tries too hard, he runs out of steam after 4 rounds and gets stopped and exhausted in the 7th round, then it will go against him. And I know this sounds like a cop-out, but if you could call me after 20 seconds of the first round, Steve, I'll give you the exact what's going on, okay?
Is there a danger of Tyson Fury doing that, do you think? Or will he be too
absolutely.
smart? No, right,
absolutely. Because you remember he had that rematch with Deontay Wilder. In the first fight, it goes 12 rounds. He does that thing in the 12th round when he gets knocked down and he gets up somehow. It's unbelievable. Then we go into the rematch, and suddenly we see a totally different Tyson Fury. He just chases Deontay Wilder, catches him cold and stops him in about 7 rounds, but pulverised him and pummeled him. If Tyson Fury tried that in this rematch with Alexander Usyk, I believe it would be an absolute disaster, because Deontay Wilder is a dangerous fighter. He's dropped his 40-odd opponents a total of 100 times. Alexander Usyk is a smart fighter, and Tyson Fury would be chasing thin air, and that could be a disaster. That's why I don't think we'll see that kind of anger. But if he can channel the anger, and I know it sounds again like it's obvious, if Tyson Fury can channel the anger I saw on Monday, then it could be a reverse of what we had in May.
We just heard Frank Warren there saying that he effectively thinks that Usyk is not in quite as good a position as he was before the first fight. But judging by what you were just saying about sort of looking into his eyes, how do you see him compared to them?
I see him not necessarily disagreeing with Frank Warren, but I don't wholeheartedly agree with Frank Warren. Alexander Usyk on the night back in May could barely walk. Let's get that right. He was so exhausted from his exertions of beating a 19-stone man. The Alexander Usyk I saw the other day looked bigger and fresher than any Alexander Usyk I've seen for 4 or 5 years. It's like he's turned back the clock. His skin was glowing. His eyes were bright. He was funny. He was alert. And plus, we've seen some footage from camp. He looks incredibly sharp. I'm not seeing Alexander Usyk who's knocking on that old man's door like we have in boxing. There's the old man's door, and there comes a point when every boxer has to tap on it. I don't see that for Alexander Usyk. I saw a very scary-looking Alexander Usyk the other day, and by the way, he was smiling at the same time.
Great stuff, Steve. I was going to say sweet dreams, but even around midnight, you won't be going to bed, will you? You'll be doing 2 ways at 4 a.m, no doubt.
Listen, I'd like to be doing 2 ways and 3 ways. I'll do anything. I just don't care. If there's a microphone, I'll go to it, Steve. You know that, son.
Thank you very much, Steve. Let me just give you the rest of the big sell then. Not that it needs it. It's Usyk Fury. But it's 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Live, full commentary, Saturday night. Coverage starts at 9, so you get the ring walks, you get the main event at 10 o'clock. There are daily episodes of the 5 Live Boxing podcast as well with Steve on BBC Sounds all week. We've got a special 5 Live Sport podcast as well, all about Saudi Arabia's investment in sport, warts and all. It's called Saudi Arabia and Sport, The Explainer. That is available now. It's on our All About feed on BBC Sounds. Half-time at St Mary's back in the League Cup. Chris Coles.
Southampton 0, Liverpool 2 in far from ideal conditions with the rain falling and the wind whipping around the stadium. A much changed Liverpool, but they're comfortably the better side. Darwin Núñez and Harvey Elliott with tidy finishes. Núñez collecting Alexander-Arnold's through ball. Tidy finish into the corner. Harvey Elliott likewise. Gakpo provided it. Elliott finished it. Southampton struggling to keep hold of the ball. They're not playing as riskily as they did under Russell Martin, but when they go long, it's coming straight back at them in the stiff breeze. But they will have the wind in the second half, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Southampton 0, Liverpool 2.
In the Women's Champions League, it's already finished. Barcelona 3, Manchester City 0. What about Arsenal, Bayern Munich? Half-time, Sahel Sahi.
Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Evenly fought first half. The Arsenal goal coming from a corner which was spilt by the Bayern Munich goalkeeper and then accidentally ricocheted off their captain, Glodis Vigastottir. Both sides had their periods of dominance, and then the equaliser came 6 minutes before the break. A corner once again. Georgia Stanway with the first contact, and then Magdalena Eriksson with the finish. Half-time, Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1.
Thank you very much, Sahel. I wasn't expecting Come a Chameleon to be playing tonight. It should be old Christmas music. Let's take you back to the Emirates. John Southall.
Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1. Another chance for Jesus on the left of the area, on the turn, saved by Henderson at his near post from the corner, cleared away. Interestingly, from those corners, Palace are keeping 3 players up so they can't pack the box, Arsenal, and so far it's working. Arsenal 1, Palace 1.
Right, back to get back underway at St James's. Ian.
Yep, already underway. Brentford are on the attack. This is Wissa just outside the penalty area. Wissa looks for a shooting opportunity, charged down by Cher, and it falls to the feet of Murphy. Chris Waddle was quite correct as well. Joel Linton did not appear at the start of the second half, replaced by Willock as Newcastle straight away attack at the other end. This is Gordon. Gordon passes the ball into the penalty area. Slice clearance by me. Livramento overruns it, and I'll run through the two teams for you. As Newcastle United in their black and white striped shirts and black shorts have Dubravka in goal, a back four of Livramento, Cher, Byrne and Hall, Tonali, Guimaraes, Willock, Murphy, Isak and Gordon. Incidentally, the yellow cards picked up in the first half for Cher and Guimaraes means that they will both be suspended for the first leg of the semi-finals that take place, well, the first leg at the start of January. For Brentford, well, they lost Vandenberg in the warm-up, and then during the first half they lost Pinnock again through injury. So they now line up with Flecken in goal, a back three of Collins, me and Ayer, with Ruislef and Lewis Potter as the wing-backs. You've then got Yarmouk and Janelt, Carvalho, Schade and Wissa. And Mbumo is on the bench. Brentford are defending the Gallagate end in their pink shirts and maroon shorts, are playing from right to left as we look, and you would think there would be a little bit more fight and bite about Brentford.
Urgency I'm looking at. Yes, honestly, he got 45 minutes to stay in the cup. A year out. They came out nice and early. I think the manager must have had a few words with them. But since we've kicked off second half, I haven't really saw a bit of urgency about them. So it's been very, very easy for Newcastle United.
Former England international Chris Waddle, who's with us here at St James's Park. We're live on BBC Radio 5 Live and also on the BBC Sounds app. Sports Extra will have commentary of Southampton against Liverpool, and we'll keep you in touch of Arsenal Crystal Palace, that 7:30 kickoff that is 1-1. A reminder, no extra time, nor tonight nor tomorrow, for that next commentary of Tottenham Hotspur Manchester United. So penalties required after 90 minutes. Carvalho asks for Lewis Potter, but won't get the better of Livramento, who passes the ball into his penalty area for Cher, and Guimaraes will play a short ball to Murphy. Came under pressure. Guimaraes was alive to the danger of it going back to Wissa. Cher had to quickly act and put the ball out of a throw, preventing it from going for a corner. Brentford to take it. In fact, Schade, I think, is going to run across to take the throw instead. So attacking the Leazes end, where those hardy souls have travelled from West London high up away towards our left. It must be a good over 1,000 have made that long trek to the northeast of England, hoping to see their side get back into the game. It's a long throw from Schade, flicked on by Collins and hooked acrobatically over his head by Wissa, but it's over the crossbar. Goal kick.
That was a long throw by Schade, wasn't it? Wow, you know, that's nearly landed middle of the goal, distance-wise. So, but I still don't see the urgency. You know, how do you get back in this cup tie? By taking risk and going having a go, and unfortunately they're playing very similar to the first half.
The attendance inside St James's tonight is 51,765, and the majority will be content with this scoreline of Newcastle United 2, Brentford 0. Those goals from Tonali in the first half, as Murphy challenged by Janelt. Tonali loses out to Yarmouk, but Tonali charges after the Brentford players. Mee had to skip out of the way to Carvalho now for Brentford. Just in from the left touchline on this near side. Lewis Potter strokes it back left-footed. Fair-haired Mee plays the ball inside. Collins overhits it. There's again another heavy touch, and it goes out of play for a goal kick, as we're going to the darts and James Gregg.
And we've just had, Deno, a 9-dart finish, the 15th in World Championship history. To take the opening set, the relatively unknown Dutch dartsman Christian Kist. The arena has gone absolutely bonkers. It happened about 2 minutes ago, and you can still hear the noise. Incredible. So he's one set up, and this crowd have been treated already tonight. An incredible, historic 9-dart finish for Christian Kist.
Thank you, James. Free kick taken quickly by Tonali for Newcastle. Swept downfield towards Livramento, held up by Lewis Potter on the edge of his own penalty area, and then marshalled safely behind for a goal kick. I mean, the beauty of the second goal for Newcastle now is that, you know, they've just got to keep it tight, and they're through the last four.
Listen, they've just, as you say, just work hard. Don't allow Brentford to get time, space, especially in the final third. And go and get a third, because the longer the game goes on, Brentford's got to take more risk.
Brentford, who didn't reach the quarter-finals in this competition for any of the first 60 seasons, and now in their last 8 have found them in the last 8 in 3 of the last 5 seasons. They lost to Chelsea in 2021. They did eliminate Newcastle in the previous season, as we mentioned, in the first half, but it looks like they are the ones going to be making the exit as it currently stands, 6 minutes into the second half, trailing 2-0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Brentford do have a free kick, which not quite at the midway point of the Newcastle half, as the black and white striped shirts of Newcastle United once again provide as much protection as possible to Dubravka with that high line 25 yards out from goal. Lewis Potter is the player who places the ball down gently. You've got the 3 central defenders who've gathered on this near side, Collins and Ayer and Ben Mee. Then again it's taken short. And then Janelt is the player who switches it to Mee, heads it on, drops towards Collins with his back to goal, and then Mee's touch, a little bit off balance, has skied it, and it's well behind for a goal kick.
No, well worked free kick again. Obviously Newcastle are holding that high lane to move the ball square. Newcastle have to drop off, and they weren't a good angle, but Mee could not get his foot wrapped around it to put it in the box.
They haven't had a shot on goal yet, Brentford. 52 minutes into this cup tie. Tonali forward to Murphy. Stepping out of defence was me to Lewis Potter. Carvalho back towards Janelt. That was quicker from Brentford, a little bit sharper. They pass the ball. Wisser is onto it, plays it back to Lewis Potter. Promising for Brentford. Left hand side of the penalty area. Janelt with a cross, headed away easily by Byrne. No focal point in the penalty area. Yarmouk, back with Janelt, looking for a way back into the tie. Newcastle trying to work hard to get it back, and Gordon does succeed in doing so. It was Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1. There's now been a goal, but to who to? John Southall.
They've turned it around. Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 1. Jesus again. Gabriel Jesus on the right of the area. Smashed it into the bottom left-hand corner. Arsenal 2, Palace 1.
So as it currently stands, 3/4 of that semi-final lineup would be Arsenal, Liverpool and Newcastle United, with to join them Tottenham Hotspur or Manchester United tomorrow night. Here is Willock getting the ball back from Gordon, out to Hall on that far side, down the line to Willock, former Arsenal player, and the Brentford player just drops to the floor easily. That was Yarmouk, and it'll be a free kick to the away side.
It's Newcastle, isn't it? The game's very scrappy, and let's be honest, there's not a lot of quality. Brentford have had a lot of time on the ball in certain areas, but not used it well enough. Newcastle, very well disciplined, seeing the game through.
Here is Janelt, hits a ball early. Nobody was giving chase. There was Cher, plays it forward under pressure, finds Livramento in that central area now, is able without any undue pressure to wander across towards the far side, and Gordon shuffles the ball inside. Livramento has stayed central. Isak comes short, 25 yards out. That was being pulled back by Janelt there. The referee has played the advantage. Out to Murphy, comes to a standstill right corner of the area. Tonali will give it back to Murphy. Tonali then, and Newcastle United have a control in this cup tie with 10 minutes into the second half. Here is Hall, back to Cher inside the centre circle, working it neatly, finding their men. Tonali, Livramento. Murphy comes in off the right touchline, goes into a central area, runs off the legs of Yarmouk, and actually aided Murphy. Here is Gordon to Isak, back towards Gordon. Nice move by Newcastle United, nicked away off his toes behind for a corner.
The thing about Newcastle is when they get the ball, they're going to take a short corner.
Taking it very short and very quickly. Gordon, in it goes, headed out by comes towards Livramento. Brentford had everybody back in and around their own penalty area. Newcastle United still lead by 2-0. Gordon in field to Guimaraes. Hall back with Livramento, goes square. Tonali. Now it's with Cher, who provides the width on this near side, the right. Murphy now will make that run out towards the right touchline. Newcastle though still keeping the ball, and keeping the ball very, very well.
Listen, they're 2-0 up, but they don't need to take risks. If you look at them, when they go through the gears on Newcastle, they do. Brentford, no, nothing.
Willock runs forward into the penalty area. Shot takes a deflection. They're appealing for handball. The referee, with no VAR, will say it goes behind for a corner kick. Newcastle 2-0.
The thing with Newcastle is they've played possession, they've played the game slow, and a lot of this game. But what they do is when they see an opportunity, they go for it, and they change of pace and everything. The tempo changes and everything. Brentford don't have that.
So it's going to be a corner kick in front of the Gallagate end on that far side. Newcastle United playing from left to right. Gordon is the player who stands over it. Brentford have got every pink shirt back inside their own penalty area. In fact, it's going to be Hall to take it. He rolls it to Gordon. Gordon then with a back heel to Hall. Nicely worked. It was Isak who had the shot, skied it. Coming away from goal, 8 yards out, left-footed skied
well
it.
Well rehearsed up the training ground, they've worked on that, you can see that. And I think really, Isak should have let that go. And it would have went, I think it was to Tonali on the edge of the box, who was waiting for it. It was a well-worked corner. Lovely bit of skill, lovely little back heel. He dummies it. But Newcastle have total control of this match.
Yeah.
I can't remember Brentford having a spell a 5-10 minutes where you start thinking, yeah, they're coming into it now. Not showing anything.
No. Ever since Tonali fired Newcastle ahead in the 9th minute, they've been in charge of this cup tie. Leading by 2-0 as we approach the hour mark. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And you hear a lot of mentions on the station in the coming days about the fact that the Usyk Fury fight is live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds coverage on Saturday night from 9 o'clock. Here is Willock to Gordon. Newcastle United attacking. Guimaraes and Isak are up with him, as is Willock. Gordon tries to place it and places it just wide right-footed. That would have sealed it, surely.
Great move, great bit of change of tempo, wasn't it? To pick it up, Willock runs with it, gives it to Gordon, who runs around the outside of him. And he could have rolled Willock in, but I think he was in a great position to do what he tried, to bend it, place it in that bottom corner. Just goes past the post, but this is such an easy game, comfortable game for Newcastle.
We've talked about Brentford's home record and we've talked about their troubles away from home. Eventually, do you think, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your career, but does that become psychological after a while?
Yeah, but why is it psychological? Lovely stadium, lovely pitch. You know, the fans are not on the pitch, are they? So why can't you perform at home and try and copy it again? You should play the same way. I don't get it.
Well, Damsgaard is going to be coming on. There's going to be at least one change being made by Brentford. There is activity down below as they trail 2-0. But Newcastle United, with those goals from Tonali in the first half, have a cushion. Roerslev, deep inside his own half, turns and clears long. Wissa being pulled back by Byrne. It was a tussle between the two. The referee was quite happy for them to let it continue. And lets the game flow too. Cher out to Livramento, right side of the centre circle. 30 minutes remain on 5 Live. Livramento now towards Murphy, coming in on the right touchline to Guimaraes. Willock is ahead of him. Isak just waits outside the D. Every outfield player is in the halfway towards our right. Hall to Gordon, combining on that left-hand side. Gordon in towards Guimaraes, just looking for the third goal to put this tie to bed. Stroke forward by Cher. Murphy, Livramento on the overlap. Murphy uses him a decoy, goes in field, links up there with Guimaraes, just wide. Low right-footed effort, curled wide of the left-hand post, but it was a lovely move.
Brilliant move, absolutely brilliant. They must have had 15 passes, say. Well worked, excellent bit of skill. Murphy should really put that in the bottom corner, but Brentford not really trying to get the ball back at all. So easy for Newcastle.
Let's get the latest from Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 1. Just about 10 minutes still to play. Palace haven't given this up yet. And also just seeing a replay of that second Jesus goal. May well just have been offside when he made his run. But of course no VAR. And it stood Arsenal 2, Palace 1.
And what's the latest at Southampton, Chris Coles?
Southampton 0, Liverpool 2. 5 minutes into the second half. Double change for Liverpool at the break. Chiesa and Tsimikas on for Alexander-Arnold and Gomez. Which means Liverpool's back line is now Tsimikas, Endo, Quansah, Morton. We'll see if Southampton can threaten what is a very unfamiliar back line. 0-2.
Commentary of that is on Sports Extra, but there's been another goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
And it's a hat-trick for Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal 3, Palace 1. Timed his run just inside his own half, outstripped the defence and smashed it in to finish it off. Before tonight, he'd scored 1 in 33 games. Tonight he's helped himself to a hat-trick. Arsenal 3, Palace 1.
61 minutes played here. Double change being made by Brentford. Damsgaard is coming on, as is Mbumo, and it will be Janelt who is going off, as well as Fabio Carvalho. So that is the change being made by Thomas Frank in an attempt just to try and pep up this Brentford side, who are yet to test Dubravka in the Newcastle goal. 61 minutes played.
No, well, they've shown nothing. Set pieces, whatever, general play. You know, there's no tempo about them. There's no desire. It's been such an easy game for Newcastle. Newcastle's done what they've needed to do.
And let's get an update from Arsenal's women. Sahel side.
4 minutes played in the second half here. Ian, still Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Bayern Munich have come out really with some attacking intent. Whoever finishes top of the group will be seeded into the next round, which is the quarter-finals. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1.
Just regarding Gabriel Jesus, that is his first Arsenal hat-trick, and it is the fifth of his career for an English side. He scored 4 during his time with Manchester City. Watford, Burton, Shakhtar Donetsk and Dinamo Zagreb. But his first for Arsenal as Gabriel Jesus with a hat-trick as they've come from behind to lead Crystal Palace by 3-1. Liverpool lead 2-0 at Southampton, and here Newcastle United are extremely comfortable against Brentford, but we'll wait to see what those changes do as Mbumo goes to the right of Wissa, Shardas to the left, Damsgaard in the midfield, because Newcastle United at the minute, it looks like serene progress to the last 4 in a competition where they're looking to try and end that long wait. The final is on Wembley, the 16th of March. It'll be 70 years by the time next year comes around. Newcastle United, well, it's going to be whatever the outcome of tomorrow night's tie. You've got a heavyweight look, haven't you, to that semi-final lineup.
Massive.
Although nobody will relish a trip to St James's Park, where Newcastle United now have failed to score in only 3 of their last 25 games. That's in all competitions, actually home and away, but in their home form from mid-January they've lost only 2 of their last 18 here at home. They are very, very strong at St James's. 63.5 minutes played, they lead 2-0, and Eddie Howe is going to be making a change as well. Harvey Barnes is going to be coming on very, very soon for Newcastle United.
Well, day for Gordon, I would think, wouldn't it? Game's won, really.
Yeah. Newcastle United, for their festive period, they've got a trip to Ipswich. They entertain Villa on Boxing Day at home, and then they travel to Manchester United on the 30th of December. But the change, it's Murphy actually coming off, Jacob Murphy. I thought, like you, Chris, I thought it was going to be Anthony Gordon, but Jacob Murphy comes off. And Harvey Barnes is on. He started the last 4 games as Jacob Murphy. It's his best run of the season in the Newcastle first team. 2 goals in that win against Leicester at the weekend. 2-0 they lead here tonight as we approach the midway point of the second half on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And here is Yarmouk on this near side, the left. Tries to win it back. Sharda is there, but as is Tonali. And in fact, it's offside against Brentford. Free kick for Newcastle United.
Well, it just doesn't matter what Newcastle do. They're cruising this game, whether they want up the tempo or play as they are. Brentford have offered absolutely nothing.
No, it looks like it's going to be a tame exit for Brentford in this League Cup competition. Might have been a different proposition had it been down in West London, but there's been another goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
Well, maybe it's not over yet. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 2. Special goal for Eddie Nketiah. Brilliant header. Rose really well and planted it into the bottom right-hand corner. So we've got 5 minutes to play. Arsenal 3, Palace 2.
Can Palace force a penalty shootout? Eddie Nketiah against his former club on the score sheet at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 2. Liverpool sounds comfortable for them. 2-0 on Sports Extra against Southampton at St Mary's, and still no change in the scoreline here at St James's Park. Damsgaard, he of the high forehead, back to Yarmouk, who switches play to Ruislef on the far side, the Brentford right, midway through the Newcastle half. Just can't recall Newcastle having a scare in this cup tie.
Nothing. From the first minute, I know they've had shuffle the pack a bit, Brentford, with injuries, but they've not offered anything going forward at all.
While we wait for Brentford to have their first shot on target, Newcastle 2 shots on target, they've got the 2 goals.
It's been an easy game for them.
Offside against Mbumo, was it? No. Flag had stayed down. Infield to Wissa. Wissa now to Lewis Potter, joins the attack. Left corner of the penalty area. Livramento dived in, and Lewis Potter got the shot away, and it was beaten out at his near post by Dubravka. That might have had a few Newcastle fans wincing as Livramento went to ground.
It's been their best part of passage of play, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Kept the ball well, got it down the right, switched it to the left, goes on the outside. All right, they blocked the cross, but at least they were a bit more positive.
Damsgaard waits to take the corner kick. He's waiting for the arrival of Ayer and Collins up from the back. crowded penalty area. Damsgaard to take it towards the far post, fisted away by Dubravka, taken on the chest then by Lewis Potter, goes to ground under the challenge by Tonali. Counter-attack is on. Paul away on that far side, the left. Willock's ahead of him. Midway through the Brentford half on the left. Guimaraes also now running ahead. Willock comes inside, edge of the area, gets the shot away, and it was travelling too. And well saved in the midriff of goalkeeper Flecken. 2-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, good counter-attack by Newcastle. Willock, who's come on, he's looked very lively since he come on. And had a great spell at Newcastle, I think, before he got injured, didn't he? And he lost his way a bit, place. He's got a lot of talent.
Midway through the second half, turnover in play. Isak to Gordon. Sorry, here is Isak. Isak with a shot charged down by Ayer. Behind for a corner kick for Newcastle United.
So easy for Newcastle. I've got to say, Newcastle can go through gears. Brentford stuck in reverse.
So in front of the Gallagate end, Gordon waits to take the corner kick on that far side, the left. 22 minutes remain. The home side lead by 2-0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Brentford have got everybody in and around their own 6-yard area, extremely congested, not much room for Flecken. As Gordon, arms aloft, clips it in, curling in, headed away by Ayer. Tonali volleys it, comes towards Hall, his effort is blocked. He's got Tonali if he wants him again. He tries to go for goal, saved, Guimaraes, and a tap in by Sher. And Newcastle United have got the third goal. It was almost walked in over the net, and they're walking their way through to the last 4 of the League Cup because they lead Brentford now by 3-0.
Simple goal, wasn't it? Just kept the pressure on. Kept the pressure on when the ball was bouncing around in the penalty area, and eventually, let's say Guimaraes did very so well just to pick him out. Just squared it. He could have been selfish, could have shot, could have lost his head a little, panic and shot, but he didn't. Kept his composure, just pulled it to the side. It's a simple tap-in, isn't it? I mean, Brentford, big save, can't deal with the corner, can't clear the ball at all. And when it comes to Guimaraes, who's just onside, gets the rebound. Very unselfish play.
So Newcastle United are leading Brentford 3-0. At Southampton, what's the latest? Chris Coles.
Southampton are right back in this game, now trailing Liverpool by 2-1. Cameron Archer, really well taken, cutting inside, onto his right foot, 15-16 yards out, bending into the top corner. Just what this game needed. Southampton 1, Liverpool 2.
Tight finishes elsewhere. Arsenal leading Crystal Palace 3-2. They're in the dying embers of that game. 7:30 kickoff. It was an 8 o'clock start at St Mary's. Commentary continues on Sports Extra. As here is Wissa with a turn and shot. He's absolutely skied it, launched it in the air, and a goal kick. Arsenal's women against Bayern Munich. Sahel Sahi.
And they're losing at home to Bayern Munich by 2-1. They were leading, now they're trailing. The second from a corner, and once again the ex-Chelsea defender Magdalena Eriksson scooping low inside the 6-yard box. A lovely old-fashioned diving header. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 2.
To credit the Brentford support, not many of them appear to be leaving. High up in the gods, away towards our left. I mean, I dread to think what time those who are making the trip back to West London will get back into their beds in the early hours. It's got to be at least 5 hours, hasn't it?
Yeah, easy.
Here is Mbumo. Far side, Ruisley. Newcastle still showing the levels of desire from Hall to clear. Mbumo comes in field, can't get there. Tonali will take it away from him. Keeps the ball very, very well, Sandro Tonali. Another goal in Arsenal women against Bayern in the Champions League. Sahel.
Arsenal have equalised within 60 seconds once again from a corner. It's the 4th goal that has come from the corners, and it's Alessia Russo who's been on fire. She's equalised with a right-footed volley. Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2.
Mark Flecken, he's only kept 1 clean sheet in 18 appearances this season. He's been beaten 3 times tonight. And Newcastle United now, they're in amongst the goals. 12 goals in their last 4 if you include this one.
Oh, listen, I think it's probably been one of the easiest games I've played this season. I can't remember Brentford really causing any type of problem.
And Mbumo, right hand side of the penalty area with the cross. Wissa waits, can't get over it, and his header drops aimlessly wide of the right hand post for a goal kick and a shake of the head from Chris Waddle.
Well, I was expecting a lot more from Brentford tonight, quarter final of a cup.
the drama is elsewhere. Chris Coles.
That goal has transformed Southampton, so close to an equaliser. Brilliant ball in from the right-hand side, right in that corridor of uncertainty. Touch goalwards. Kelleher with a brilliant one-handed save to keep it at Southampton 1, Liverpool 2.
Arsenal still leading Crystal Palace by 3-2. And here, Newcastle United 3 goals to the good with 18 minutes remaining. Yarmouk. I mean, when it was 2-0, if Brentford had got a goal back, you're thinking might set up an interesting finale. You're only thinking it'd be a consolation if they could trouble Dubravka as the ball goes behind for a goal kick. How long have you got left at the Emirates, John Southall?
Got about 2.5 minutes. Arsenal 3, Palace 2. Jorginho's down with an injury. Arsenal have the ball. Palace need to get it. Have they got one last effort in them? Arsenal 3, Palace 2.
Jayden McHomer is going to be coming on. He made his first league appearance of his career at the weekend. Former Southampton youngster who they signed in the summer for £5 million, made his debut in this competition against Leyton Orient. So we've got a McHomer and a Maghomer coming on. So Jayden McHomer comes on, and then Paris Maghomer is coming on, who they signed from Tottenham. So there are the double changes being made by Thomas Frank, and I would imagine for Meghomer and Maghomer just an opportunity to give the youngsters some experience of playing in this competition, because the tie is over, isn't it, at 3-0 for Newcastle?
Listen, there's been no contest, let's be honest. I think I've seen Newcastle play a lot better, don't get us wrong, but they've been far better than Brentford. Brentford have showed nothing tonight for me, nothing.
And Will Asula is going to be coming on for Newcastle United. So he is, again, another chance for him to get a little bit of a run out for Eddie Howe. And it feels just so comfortable, almost like a procession for Newcastle United. William Asula, who they signed from Sheffield United, the young Danish forward, still looking for his first goal for the club. And Kieran Trippier too is going to be coming on as well, as Brentford break with Ruislef far side, back towards Mbumo. Midway through the half, sends over a cross, volleyed away by Byrne. Back to John Southall at Arsenal.
And I think that might be Palace's last chance. Arsenal 3, Palace 2. There's a corner over on the left-hand side. Henderson, the keeper, came up, but Raya punched it away, and I think that will be it for Palace. Arsenal 3, Palace 2.
Thank you, John. It's going to be a triple change being made for Newcastle United. We're going to see Kieran Trippier, Asula, and also Miguel Almiron, who made a substitute appearance against Leicester for the last 17 minutes, and that's his only game time that he's had since the end of October. Chances are he'll be moving on in the new year. Here is Barnes, his shot charged down, comes towards Isak, plays it through to Barnes once again, turns in the penalty area, inside right channel. 3-0 to Newcastle, out towards Tonali. Cries of shoot from the crowd, chips the ball, left-hand side. Hall passes the ball in field, runs through towards Barnes, looks for a shooting opportunity, chips towards the far post, headed back by Collins for a corner kick to Newcastle. 14 minutes remain, they lead 3-0.
It's been easy for Newcastle all night, but it's even easier now. A lot of heads have dropped in the Brentford side. It's so easy for Newcastle.
Full time at Arsenal, John Southall.
Arsenal have held on. Arsenal 3, Palace 2. Palace 1 up at half-time. Gabriel Jesus with 3 second-half goals. First, a lovely dink finish. The second, he smashed into the left corner. Could have been offside, but no VAR. The third, Ødegaard with the assist inside his own half. Ran half the length of the pitch, kept his composure, and finished for his first Arsenal hat-trick. Eddie Nketiah got one back here at the Emirates for him, but it was ultimately a consolation. The last time Arsenal won the League Cup, 1993. They're into the semis. Arsenal 3, Palace 2.
You're a brave man mentioning that, bearing in mind that Chris Waddle's alongside me. He's just said the last time Arsenal won the League Cup was 1993. That was the year you were the runner-up, wasn't it? Sheffield Wednesday.
It's in the notebook, don't worry. I don't.
Triple change being made. Trippier comes on for Lewis Hall. Asula replaces Isak. And the other change is Anthony Gordon going off and Miguel Almiron coming on, with Newcastle United 13 minutes remaining and leading 3-0, and still the corner kick to be taken over on that far side. Gordon just walks and acknowledges the Gallagate end as he makes his way behind that goal towards our right hand side. Guimaraes to take it, in swinger, punched out, comes out towards Tonali, looking for the hat-trick, and then it was blocked by Paris Magoma.
Guimaraes puts a corner in with a lot of pace, in swinger, and the goalie doesn't deal with it great, gets his 2 hands on it, fists it away. Nobody's marking Tonali on the penalty spot, and could have been a hat-trick.
It could have been to seal what had been an excellent night's work for the Italian. Another corner kick. Guimaraes fires this one in. Needed the outstretched leg of Collins to get it away from the direction of the near post. Willock scoops it long. Almiron keeps it alive by flicking the ball high in the air. It drops, and it drops out of play for a goal kick with 12 minutes remaining. So Arsenal are the first side through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Liverpool still have the slender lead at St Mary's by 2-1. Commentary tomorrow from Tottenham, Manchester United, all the build-up from 7. And then at the weekend, we've got 7 Premier League commentaries for you this weekend. West Ham Brighton at 3, Crystal Palace Arsenal at 5:30, they meet again. And then on Sunday, Everton Chelsea is at 2. Manchester United's on Sports Extra, and on the website we'll have commentaries of Fulham Southampton, Leicester Wolves, and then that's followed by Tottenham Liverpool at 4:30. That's just the football, let alone the Usyk Tyson Fury fight. Coverage from 9 o'clock. Mark Chapman will be in Riyadh from midday presenting 5 Live Sport on Saturday. As Tonali goes back and Cher hits it long, looking for Willock, headed away by Collins, kept alive by Almiron, back it goes. Collins will play it back out towards Ruoslev, who's calling for Flecken to come off his goal line, plays it down the line, and still Brentford yet to muster a shot on target.
You know, it's just little battles in as well, and you know, I've been watching little player against player. They've not won any battles neither. They've been so easy for Newcastle.
Here is Trippier. Livramento has switched to left back with Trippier coming on for Hall, and so Livramento provides the width over on that far side. Very, very easy this for Newcastle United. Barnes, Guimaraes just outside the penalty area, side onto goal, almost queuing up on the left. Let's get it here of a chance at St Mary's. Chris Coles.
Taken by Federico Chiesa, placed really nicely on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he went for the cross rather than shooting. Still Southampton 1, Liverpool 2.
Osula inside to Guimaraes, carves the ball out towards that far side. Barnes hits it, rears up quite awkwardly for Collins, headed away by Yarmouk. Infield towards Tonali. Trippier plays it back. Still passing the ball quickly, aren't they, Newcastle?
I can't remember Brentford in the second half. I think they've been in Newcastle's penalty area about 3 times, if that. It's such an easy game. 2-0 down half time. Go and have a go. What you got to lose?
Eddie Howe, though, is applauding the work rate of his Newcastle players, as this is an opportunity now for Magoma to come forward. Ball slid in by Wissa for Mbumo, and it will go out of play for a goal kick.
Should have went Ruoslev coming on the right side. He was in, easy ball. He's tried to reverse to his strike partner Mbumo, but didn't work out. You've got to say, this is a game I don't think Thomas Frank will have time to dwell on. I think he's got to put it to history, put it to bed, and say we didn't turn up.
Yeah, and they will look to get back to their winning ways at Brentford and their home form. Home sweet home, it'll be a case of that when they return, as Barnes hits the post with a low effort. Hit it from distance as well, right footed on the ground. This is Guimaraes who slips, headed away by Collins. Newcastle United just looking for the finishing touches to their progress to the last 4 with a 4th goal.
Yeah, if this had been 5-6, I don't think anybody would argue. You know, they've absolutely cruised through this game. And here we go again.
Cries of shoot for Cher into Almiron. Almiron has gone a year without a goal. He pulls it back to Tonali. He has an effort blocked. Well, they're leading 3-0. They've hit the post twice. Chris Waddle's quite right. Had it been 5 or 6, I don't think many people could have complained. Murphy hitting the post in the first half, Barnes in the second. And the Newcastle supporters are clearly enjoying their night here at St James's.
Yeah, rightly so. I mean, it's a quarter-final of the cup, and then, you know, you go into the semi-final on a good run of form at the minute. So, yeah, I mean, Brentford have got problems. If they're going to play week in, week out, then they've got problems.
Ball is crossed, and it will be eventually cleared by Trippier. Newcastle United previously have progressed twice from 11 quarter-finals in this competition. On both occasions, they have reached a final, 1976 and 2023. Didn't win it, but they did at least get to Wembley. Will they get to Wembley in 2025? We'll find out. The draw will take place after tomorrow night's quarter-final tie at Tottenham, but 7 minutes remaining. Thing is, they're just looking for further goals here. There's no let-up from Newcastle, which I would imagine would please Eddie Howe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're enjoying it. They've kept the attitude. They're very professional, kept the tempo up. And as you say, let's be honest, if it was 5-6, I don't think anybody could argue with that.
We're on until 10:30 when Tony Livesey takes over on 5 Live. We'll try and bring you as much reaction as we can from tonight's ties, as this is Meg Homer on this near side the left as a step over, wins a corner off the legs of Trippier. Jayden McHomer making his 4th appearance for Brentford, so matching the tally that he had when he started out at Southampton. As Damsgaard waits with his hands on hips to take the corner kick on this near side. And we have 6 minutes remaining of normal time. Damsgaard, in it goes, headed out by Willock, drops to the edge of the area, and Mbeumo heads it to Damsgaard. Damsgaard now works over the cross, and the header is headed wide. It was Ben Mee who threw himself at it. Goal kick.
They'd be disappointed that didn't go in. He got a free header. He arrives spot on time. It's a good ball into the far post. He just arrives, no challenge, and he's missed the target.
Popped up with 3 goals last season for Brentford.
Great ball in.
Yeah.
Just comes at the far post. Oh, disappointed there.
But still off target for Brentford.
Yeah. Oh, listen, they've really struggled tonight. Really struggled.
Here is Mee stepping out of defence and winning the ball against Almiron. Mee with a cross, and Mbeumo can't bring it under control despite his efforts to do so, but he does collect it on that right hand side of the penalty area. Under 5 minutes remaining. Ball stroked forward, and Mbeumo touches it. Ruislev crosses into the penalty area. Cher heads it away. Still those Newcastle, they've got the 3 goals, they've got a progression into the last 4, but they want to keep that clean sheet as well. They want the perfect scoreline in that respect.
That's what they want. They want the clean sheet as well.
And another corner kick for Brentford, but the pressure's coming far too late. Won't have any relevance in terms of the it would just be a consolation, and even then it's cleared away by Livramento. As Thomas Frank is in deep discussion with his coaching staff. To be fair to Thomas Frank, he never pulls any punches. He's always very honest when he talks after a game. Never likes to dress things up. As the ball is cleared away by Tonali, Osula lays it off into the path of Guimaraes with their peroxide dyed hair. Like they've been to the same barber, isn't it? Guimaraes and Osula.
Yeah.
Either that or they've shared the same
Joe
bottle.
Linton.
Joe Linton.
Same.
They did a multi-buy. The bottle was being passed around in the dressing room. 3.5 minutes remaining. Liverpool still lead 2-1 in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Here is Aya to Mee down the line. Almiron. Just thinking, they've got Aston Villa at home on Boxing Day. Then they're away on the 30th. If it doesn't feature against Aston Villa on Boxing Day. This could be the final time that Almiron maybe plays at St James's Park when the January transfer window opens.
Yeah. Oh, he's quick.
Ball through the middle. Whistle against Cher. Whistle get there first. Dubravka off his goal line. Straight at the keeper. Left-footed from the Brentford striker. Dubravka with a save.
Great place to get away from Cher, but he's got to do better with the finish. It's a poor finish, that.
Now this game's currently on Sports Extra, but Chris Coles will provide us with the latest.
Southampton 1, Liverpool 2, 15 minutes to play. Liverpool have done a pretty good job of quelling what had been some good Southampton resistance. They were flying forward looking for an equaliser, but Liverpool have regained control, regained possession, and are 15 minutes away from a place in the semi-final. Southampton 1, Liverpool 2.
Thanks, Chris. From the throw, Brentford down the left-hand side. Magoma keeps the ball in play. Magoma will win a corner as his left-footed cross was blocked and charged down by Willock.
Well, Wizards just had a great chance which he should have scored. Poor finish, good save you can say at the goalkeeper, but all of a sudden now there's a lot of energy from Brentford and it's too late.
Far too late. Cross comes in from Damsgaard, flicked on by Magoma. Paris Magoma, who's got a brother Jacques who played for Birmingham and DR Congo, and another brother Christian who played for Aldershot. So this is a youngster who they signed from Spurs, has had loan experience at MK Dons and Wimbledon, and actually he had a loan spell at Bolton last year where he scored 9 times in his 50 appearances in League One. He's 23 years of age, 5'9", midfielder. As we enter the last 60 seconds of the regulation 90 here at St James's Park. Arsenal already through, and Newcastle United will be joining them. Liverpool holding to a 2-1 leader at Southampton, and then we'll see between Spurs and Manchester United tomorrow. Let's get an update from the darts. James Gregg.
Yeah, the second match of the night, the one that provided us with the 9-dart finish from the Dutchman Christian Kist, has actually ended in his opponent taking the spoils here. His Latvian opponent, Madars Ramza, then won the next 3 legs. He applauded the 9-dart finish, he loved it, but then quickly forgot about it. He himself is into round 2.
Newcastle United going into the last 4 as Magoma comes under pressure. Trippier dispossesses him, passes the ball down the line. This is Willock, he runs into me. That was Willock running into me, not me stopping the run of Willock, and the attack peters out. Who do you think that Newcastle United would want in the last 4?
Man United. I know Man United beat City at the weekend, and everybody says they're going to turn it around, but they're not there yet. I think Newcastle would fancy the chances. I think if Arsenal put the full side out and Liverpool put the full team out, we know they came here and they give them a right game, Liverpool, didn't it? But I'm sure they'd be looking at Man United.
Well, the thing is that we've got 3 minutes of added on time. Those 2 teams that you mentioned, as the ball is passed forward out towards Mbeumo to Wissa. It's a consolation. In added on time, Mbeumo to Wissa, and he tucks the ball in from close range, but too late.
Just shows you here now, great counter-attack, great break, good pace. Why didn't he play them 2 from the start? You know, I'm not just saying it, I know Newcastle come off the pace because they're 3-0 up, but the last 10-15 minutes, them 2 have caused a lot of problems together. I mean, now in the Premier League they score goals. So you've come here and you've experimented, and really you've got hammered. You know, Newcastle convincing winners for me. That's a consolation goal, obviously, but when you look at it, them 2 cause problems, so why don't you play them?
Yeah. Well, they were in the table, Brentford 11th and Newcastle 12th, and they are in a cluster of clubs as a shot goes wide from Guimarães, where from the top 6, from Bournemouth to Manchester United, you know, there's very little difference. 1 win and it can change, but at the end of the day, for clubs like Brentford and Newcastle, it's about winning silverware.
It is, but we know how big the Premiership is for money, and that is their main concern. So if it means giving this up to survive in the Premier League, they will. But if you look at the 4 teams what could be in the semi-final, are all big football clubs. So people do value it. But I just look Brentford, since they put the 2 strikers together again, I know Newcastle's probably come off the pace, but they've caused problems straight away, and they've scored a good goal.
Well, by my watch, we've got 60 seconds remaining. The ball is hit downfield, then headed back by Livramento in his penalty area to Dubravka. But too little, too late for Brentford. And only Thomas Frank will know the reasons why, and we might try and find out if we can get that live reaction between 10:30 as to why he made the changes.
You enter a competition to win it, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to win it, put the reserves out and say, look, we don't want to be in it. So, you've went through penalty shootouts and everything to get to this stage, and then you turn up and think, well, you haven't turned up until 85 minutes, whatever it's been.
I think Eddie Howe showed his intent on winning this trophy by going with an unchanged side. Exactly. As Asula is hit over the top and he tries to latch onto it. Asula in the penalty area.
Oh, tackle.
What a tackle. Great recovery challenge by Aya to get the block in just when Asula had peeled back the right foot and was looking for his first goal.
Well, we thought he was away, and from where I was sitting here I thought he's in, and it's just a matter of waiting for the net to buzz. But what a great recovery. Brilliant tackle.
Well, by my watch, the 93 minutes are up. We were playing a minimum of 3 minutes. Newcastle lead Brentford by 3-1. Liverpool still lead at Southampton 2-1. But there is the full-time whistle. 2 goals in the first half from Tonali. A tap in from Cher with 21 minutes remaining. Twice they hit the post and then whistle with a consolation. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, I've got to say, quite an easy inning for Newcastle. Quarter-finals and they'll probably get an easier game. Brentford come to life when they make the substitutions, put the A-team on as such players. Last 10-15 minutes they had a goal. Should have done it from the start for me, but that's been an easy game for Newcastle tonight, and they're in the semi-finals.
Newcastle then into the last 4. It's finished at St James's. Newcastle United 3, Brentford 1.